Welcome to this week's favourite Sunday sermon. Britain's favourite Sunday sermon, indeed. Now, another week, another farce, and sadly, another tragedy. Yes, it was the week that the Prime Minister succeeded in getting through his Safety of Rwanda bill. It's now past all the hurdles, all the noise, all the shenanigans, the amendments. It's done. Also, completely and utterly irrelevant. The reality is, the Prime Minister then stood up and said, enough is enough. You know, the flights are going to take off in 10 to 12 weeks, and this is the great deterrent. So great a deterrent is it, he talked about that there was going to identify people already here who are going to join the first flights. Really? Deterrent? Do you believe that? It's quite clear that the illegal migrants don't believe that on the coast of France, because within a matter of hours, more boats, absolutely packed full, overfilled with illegal migrants, were setting off from the beaches. And we learnt on Tuesday morning that sadly, 5 people, including a young child, drowned leaving the beaches. That's not a deterrent. That's an absolute disaster. Dead because the do-gooders, the human rights lawyers, the lefties, the Labour Party, there were Social Democrats and the One Nation Wallies in the Tory Party. They're all at it. They're all saying we've got to be kind and compassionate. There's nothing kind and compassionate about people dying, for heaven's sake. The only kind and compassionate thing to do is to pick people safely out of the boats as soon as they leave the beaches and take them straight back to France. Immediately, the whole business model finishes. That's the policy that I've been talking about and recommending for 18 months. We know it works. It's worked in Belgium. It's working in Greece. It worked in Australia, where they had a pushback policy. The safest, kindest thing to do, pick up and take back. And yet, none of the big politicians leading the main parties have got the guts to do it, to talk about it, to say it can be done. It can be done. I've banged on about it before. The 1974 Safety of Life at Sea Treaty, the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of Sea Treaty allows us to do it. But it requires leadership, and there's none of that whatsoever. So these people, they've all got blood on their hands. Shame on them. As they wang on about safe and legal routes, what a farce that is. Honestly. So if you've got your safe and legal routes, all right, then what happens if someone is rejected from that safe and legal route process? Guess what? They're on the coast of northern France, paying the people smugglers who are there for those who get rejected, because of course the vast majority are actually not legal asylum seekers. They're economic migrants looking to enjoy our hospitality. So that safe and legal routes thing is a nonsense. The do-gooders are literally playing with people's lives, and actually people are dying because of their absurd proposals. That's the simple facts. What I'm saying is the only way we're going to stop the deaths. Hundreds of millions of pounds, heaven knows how many man-hours wasted, and yet the evidence is already there. It's not a deterrent. People are still prepared to risk their lives and the lives of young children. What it does tell you, though, is that because it's not a deterrent, do you really think the Prime Minister is going to run long with this general election? What happens if a flight does take off in July and then the boats keep coming, which then literally crystallizes and proves once again that it's not a deterrent? What a fool the Prime Minister then looks. Led us all astray, lied to us, misled us, whatever you want to say. No. What about also if the human rights lawyers, they go to courts, the Supreme Court, the ECHR, that of course we should leave, but no one's got the guts to leave it except what I've been talking about. So if the courts stop the flights from taking off, once again, Sunak's plans destroyed. 3 pieces of legislation, irrelevant, meaningless. It's not a deterrent. That's why, folks, don't be at all surprised if come mid-May, the Prime Minister stands up and says he's calling a summer general election ahead of the boats and ahead of the flights, is what I should say, ahead of the flights taking off, because he doesn't want to risk that embarrassment, that humiliation. So that he then runs an election campaign with a slogan saying only he can stop the boats because Keir Starmer will cancel the Rwanda plan. If that's what he does, don't fall for it. The reality is it's not a deterrent. Everybody's got to tell the Prime Minister and the do-gooders, show some courage, show some guts, pick people up safely out of the boats, but instead of heading north to Dover, head south to Dunkirk. And this whole thing goes away. Stop wasting our cash, stop wasting our time, show some leaderships, stop the boats, and save lives. Have a great day. Here endeth my Sunday sermon.